Hi, welcome to another episode of Life Changers, and this is Mike. Welcome back. I know to this next episode. Today's episode, I'm just going through a bunch of different things I want to talk about, but I think today we're going to talk about focus. It's one thing I'm learning more and more as I'm going through the life of law of attraction and experimenting with it and all that, is the points that I'm the most successful, where I'm holy smokes, I'm creating, this is working, I'm attracting, I'm figuring out the frequencies and stuff like that, is when you just set it and forget it and put it in the universe. And I may have roughly talked about this a few times in different episodes, but I'm going to go more in depth, and I might have used that term, set it and forget it. But yeah, it's the one of those old infomercials. Set it and forget it. That's how. Oh yeah, congratulations. I'm showing my age. Yeah, infomercials were a thing. Probably still are, but I don't have real TV anymore. We just use all the different streaming services. Anywho, so my one of my kids, my daughter, was playing this game called Infinite Tiles. We are not sponsored by any means by Infinite Tiles, but it's it's like they play music and you hit the tiles and they come through faster and faster and stuff like that, right? And it was very fun. I was watching. I was like, "Holy smokes, man!" One of my daughters was going super fast. I'm like, "Wow, that's amazing! I can never do that." And then I was the other day, I was like, "Hey guys, let's have an infinite tile battle off." And once again, I'm not sponsored by them. It's a fun little game, whatever. And pretty much what it is, these tiles come down, you got to hit them in certain spots, and yeah, I don't know. It's good eye-hand coordination, I guess. Game and keep your brain going. But anyways, and I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's play, And they're like, oh, okay, And I first tried, I got 3 or 4 tiles. They put on a hard one. And they're like, oh, hey, we could beat you. And all my kids beat me. And I was like, But when you're focused, and this is where it gets interesting. I'm tying this in with the law of attraction and things. But when you focus on trying to see all the tiles and you're like, I got to hit this one, and you're trying to focus on it. And just you're really zoomed in on this thing, and you're blah, 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 trying to do it, and you just keep on screwing up, and you get frustrated and angry, and I don't know, this is stupid, blah blah blah, right? Yeah, but the trick is with these games is you don't look at where you're going to be hitting the buttons, boop, 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 the timing of that. I just kind of look and not pay attention to the game. I just look at it, and I look kind of higher up. And I just know my hand will do the thing. And just don't focus on trying to beat it, trying to win, trying to be amazing at it. And just do it. Just be like, yeah, I'm amazing, I'm good, yeah. So I figured that. I was like, okay, I'm going to try that. So I look at my daughter, I'm like, let's do it again. A little bit later. She's like, oh, yeah, you're going to get more than 3 or 7 this time? I'm like, yeah, I will. Because I'm not going to pay attention. I'm just going to look, trust that my eye-hand coordination is spot on, and I'm just going to do it and not focus on trying to beat you or trying to hit the tiles or trying to get the timing right. And just whatever, just listen to the music and just stare above it into the distance, whatever. And sure enough, my daughter's like, huh? And I was like, dun, 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 She's like, you've been practicing. I'm like, no, I'm just not trying. And then it's how you get it. And then the moment I start trying, I start panicking and freaking out, oh no, I'm not going to do this. And then you screw up, right? And that's exactly with the law of attraction. If you try to force, right, things to happen your way on your schedule and when you want it and stuff like that, right? And you try to force it, it doesn't happen. You start panicking, freaking out, then it's just, right? The times where I'm really zoned in or vibing or just really with the law of attraction and getting it all done up perfectly is literally when you just do the simplest methods of law of attraction in the world, which is literally visualize what you want, right? Think about what you want. Be like, that's what I want. That's what I'm going to get. And put it in the universe that you already have it. And act like you do. And set it. Send it out into the universe. Set it and forget it, right? And then it'll just, I know it sounds crazy. Trust me. I know it sounds really crazy. But that's how simple it is. Because, like I mentioned in a lot of my other episodes, when I was trying to force, like, okay, I got this amazing business, going on, and I'm doing all this traveling, and I got, like, the trucking company and shipping and all that going on. But, like, I do all these big contracts, but they're by contracts. It's not, like, every day, like, as they say, like, I'm getting my bread and butter, right? I got my basics covered, and then that's when you like focus on trying to grow the business and get like extra, right? But like I'm just doing contract basis. So it's good money when you do like big contracts and you travel to places where nobody else wants to travel to on like dangerous roads and stuff, but it's not consistent. So I'm like, I want something consistent. I want something. And now for years, because you got to understand, I turned 40 this year and I've been doing this since I was 18 years old. Like a lot of these commercial contracts and doing all the different things, right? But I'm like, I need to figure out for years what I can do to make it consistent where I don't need to be, there every day driving the trucks or there at the office every day and so on. And then, like I mentioned to you in 2019, how it just finally just poof. I was in the zone. I was listening to, I finished listening to Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and then I started listening to like the Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer, and I mentioned to on a few of my episodes, and I was just like flowing and vibing, and felt like I was finally connected to my higher self, or to the universe, or to God, or whatever you want to call it, right? And I was just flowing, and then it just hit me, like this is what you got to do. This is how you're going to do it. And you got to understand, it didn't just hit me like a thought going, hey, Mike, this is what was going to happen. I saw it. I felt it. I experienced it. And like I mentioned in just like a couple episodes ago, like on one of the Embracing Serenity, on my journey through the 10-day meditation retreat, I mentioned in there how I'm a visual thinker and things like, I don't know if everybody's the same way, but like when I hear things or somebody asks me for directions, I don't just tell them directions and I see names of the streets. I tell them like exactly how to get there. I'm driving in my head like a Google map would, and I'm like doing it as I'm telling them. Like I visualize, I see everything like that, right? So it's not just words that come into my head. It's like I literally experienced it and felt it. And just like, whoa. And I just did it. No questions asked. And like I mentioned in that episode, right, how, I called my wife. I'm like, honey, and she's like, uh-oh. Because you got to understand, to get to the point where I'm at and where I came from, was a lot of trial and error, a lot of making mistakes, a lot of things, right? But once you figure it out and you know the path, you're like, oh, yeah, this is easy. But just think about how you got there. And I literally just like, no, you don't understand. And I literally put it together within a month and a half. And like to test the concept. I called my buddy, slapped the website together. I actually talked to another person I knew who owns like a P.O. box business, And I was like, hey, I'm going to get a P.O. box here. I'm going to get all these packages shipped here. You're going to weigh and measure them all and email them to me every day. And then I'll send the customers the invoice. I'll send you the labels and you just, put them in your outbound mail. He's like, okay. And I paid him, of course. And I did all that within a month and a half. Then I went on vacation. And then when I came back from vacation, I get a call like, I can't keep up. Like, this is too busy. This is crazy. I'm like, huh? And I didn't have another location, another warehouse, right? I was like, okay, I understand, because his business was blowing up and mine was blowing up. And he's like, I just can't keep up. I'm like, no problem, buddy. So I literally rented a truck, a straight truck, 26-foot straight truck. I drove over there, grabbed all the boxes, everything that he had, and I set it up like in the truck on the floor. And I put my scale in there so I can weigh things. I got my measuring tape. I brought my laptop and a printer. And then, I drove to a building I know and was affiliated with. And then I ran an extension cord to the building because they weren't open that day. And just ran an extension cord to the building so I could use the printer, use my laptop. And I broadcasted my Wi-Fi from my cell phone. And that's how it started, that project. And then did that for a couple months, and then we finally, once again, I was trying, I was looking, I was pushing hard. We need to find a warehouse. I'm an amazing business person. Yeah. Focus, right? And nothing was coming. Then I just, surrender, right? Let go. I already have a warehouse that's going to come my way. And sure enough, after I did that, hey, I found a warehouse. So then I drove the 2 hours to go look at it, talked to the owner of the place, seemed like a nice guy. I was like, done deal. When can I move in? He's like, the 1st of, June. I was like, okay. No, we took it over. Set up my warehouse. Just boom, boom, boom. Just did it. Trusted the process. Trusted the flow of the universe. Trusted my higher self. Trusted my gut. All right? Trusted God. Trusted anything you want to call it. And it was going crazy busy. We started hiring employees, and the business was going great. And it's like a service business. And then my commercial business, I was like, well, this is going to incorporate with it. I'm going to hire myself, my commercial business, to do the trucking and start delivering this and stuff. We had truckloads every 3 weeks. Gone. And we still had stuff left behind that couldn't fit in the truck. And our motto was hey, first customers that, sends us, we have their stuff and they pay for their bills, gets on the truck first. First come, first serve. And it was nuts. And I was just flowing and just trusting. And then I remember even when I called my buddy, I'm like, hey, I need you to build this website pretty quick. Here's a concept, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, but it's going to be expensive and stuff. I'm like, don't worry about it. I have faith. I trust my gut. I trust myself. I trust the universe. I trust the flow. I'm trusting the process. And he's like, okay. And boom, he had it done. It was pretty good. It was a really good website, pretty good information. They can register and have an account with us, and it explains how it all works and blah, blah, blah. And then we just got busy. And then I call my buddy up. I'm like, hey, how would you like to go full time? Because we need to make this website even bigger, better, and start building automation to it. So we have less work to do on the ground for us and for the employees. That there's less, data entry. How we could just, let the automation program take over once we do the basic data entry, and it will do everything else. And then let us know when it's paid, and we ship it. And he's like, okay. And it's, it all worked out because he was looking for, he was going to school he was a really good self-taught web developer, web designer, but he's going to school to learn a lot of things. And he's like, but you should hire somebody who already knows what they're doing. But I said, don't worry about it, buddy. And when we were younger, I said, hey, if ever I have a successful business and I can use your skills, I will hire you. And at the time he was working at a store for, I don't know, $8, $9 an hour. And then I was like, well, you can work for me and double that. And double and more by the hour. And he's like, okay. And it helped him out, right? And I was like, I'm just trusting the universe, trusting the flow. I'm not going to take control. But here's what the funny part is. I started taking control and going, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm amazing. Look at me. Look what I got here. Look what I did. And not giving thanks to the universe or my higher self or God or whatever you want to call it. I know I say that a lot, but it really is. Whatever you call it and works for you that's 100% going to work for you, right? Everybody calls it different things. I call it, my higher self or the flow of the universe or universal energy and just finding the right frequency of energy and stuff like that. But if you want to call it whatever you want, Mother Earth, God, your gut feelings, and you just trust it and whatever, it will work for you. And I'm just telling you my experiences, and it's up to you to figure out what will work for you, what doesn't work for you, and how you want to see it and how you want to view it and stuff like that. But it works for me, and this is my process. And I'm just telling my stories and giving advice and helping people to hopefully they could find their flow and their higher self or their energy and stuff like that. But like, yeah, the moment I start trying to take control and take credit for everything, it's kind of like, you know, the universe or God's like, hey, nope, taking it back. Or how I cut the universal flow or cut that energy umbilical cord, right, from the universe. And then things just start not working out. It's crazy. The opposite of what I was taught growing up is true. The opposite of what I was taught growing up is true. Because I was told, focus on what you want, focus on your dreams, work hard, push. And focus, never let go of that focus, blah, 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 right? And just like, never stop thinking about it. You know, you want to win, you're going to win, be the winner, blah, 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 right? But no. Like, yeah, focus on the sense of if you want to make your vision board and that works for you, great. Because you visualize it, you see it every day. That's what you want. Put the house you want. You know, you want $1 million house? Well, $1 million house is like nothing in Ontario, Canada, but you need like a $10 million house for it to be anything nice. But anyways, I digress. But you know, you want your dream home, you want your dream this, you want your dream that, you want your dream that. Yeah, make your thing, right? Make your vision board, make your thing that works for you so you can see it and it reminds you. But remember, just trust and set it and forget it. And once it starts coming your way, just remember to give thanks. Give thanks. Say, you know, thank you very much to the universal flow or God or your higher self or, you know, whatever you want to call it, as I say. Give thanks. Be appreciative. And you'll be amazed how it'll just keep on flowing and flowing. Because, like, I focus and I think about the way I used to think when I was younger and how hard money was to get and how hard, it's so elusive, you know. And whenever you watch movies or TV shows, all these really rich people are just assholes, right? Or crazy, you know. They're only rich because they're willing to, you know, take their grandma or their mother for everything they're worth and just steal all their money and blah, 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 right? And that's how you be a businessman, right? I was even told when I was 18, 19 years old, when I was like, people are like, how do you do business? And I explained to them, I'm going to do it honestly. And yeah, I know I could pressure and sell people and make them buy things that they don't want, they'll regret, right? But no, I give them the options. Like when somebody calls me for quotes on things, I say, well, here's option number 1 that's most cost effective for you. And better quality. This is what I recommend. Might not be the cheapest, but it's the best quality, most cost effective. It'll last you longer, blah, blah, blah. Or we could work out a contract where if you don't want to own all the equipment, we will own the equipment and, you know, rent it out to you for a percentage and so on and so forth, right? But it's cheaper for them to own it outright. And then if anything breaks, they call and maintenance crew will come up and fix it. Stuff like that, right? Kind of like a pool salesman, right? I could be like, hey, you want a quote for a pool? This is how I would do it. You got to put up a lot of money to buy the pool from us and the install and everything. And then you got to do the maintenance yourself, right? The chlorine and all that stuff. And every few years, you know, check the lining and so on and so forth. Don't worry, I don't have a pool business, but I know a lot about pools. Because when I was younger, it was one of my hustles. I was a pool boy. Hey, you got to hustle. But anyways. Or I could rent you the pool, so it's not upfront cost for you. But yeah, over the many years you rent the pool, you would have paid for the pool 2-3 times, but you don't have to worry about maintenance. You don't have to worry about if anything breaks, you don't have to worry about that because, you know, our company in a sense will take care of it for you. We make more money, less hassle for you. But, you know, that's the way I do business is, hey, this is what, you know, I recommend. But, you know, if you'd rather do it this way, I make more money. It's good for me. So, but this will make you a lot more money. And they're like, oh. And you gotta understand, I do like big commercial contracts, right? So, yeah. not just about a simple pool. But yeah, it's very interesting. But that's how I do business. And when I was younger, they would tell me, oh, if you're not willing to, give them the only option that makes you the most money and upsell, push, blah, 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 right? And you're going to be an honest businessman don't make money. I said, you know what? Honest businessmen do make money. Just takes longer, but at least I could sleep at night. And I do everything, proper. But it's funny because I was taught how evil money is, right? I'm sure a lot of you listening right now are thinking yeah, it's true. And subconsciously, if you think about it, if you were never told, oh, money's evil, it's of the devil, blah, 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 right? Or whatever, right? It's bad, money or whatever, right? You don't want to be rich because only rich people are crazy and assholes, right? So if that's the case, if you never heard any of that, think about all the TV shows, all the movies you see about rich people. Okay, there is a percentage, probably 5 or 10% of movies that show hey, in the end, the rich person's nice. And those are mostly love movies by Hallmark. Right? Boy meets girl, and he's super crazy rich, and she struggling entrepreneur, and then in the end, they fall in love, and they are, whatever, right? Okay, that's 5-10%. That's only the Hallmark movies. But on mainstream, every time you hear about, all these rich people and all this stuff, people, who hired you to kill me? This rich guy hired me to kill me because you're going to take his money, right? By exposing the truth about this or about that. Oh, we killed all these people by poisoning the water with our nuclear power plants, and we're going to kill you to make sure you don't talk, blah, 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 right? That's what's showing all over mainstream movies, TV shows, blah, blah, blah. And it only teaches us drama. Think about it. So then what you see, it's kind of like what you eat is what you become, right? What you're watching, what you see, and all this stuff. If you're not separating reality from all this stuff, I'm telling you, believe me or not, it is programming you to be like the drama life. Oh no, everybody's against me, so drama. Or I'm only the best one, everybody else is stupid, and all this stuff, right? Because, and all this money, all these rich people are just subconsciously in all these movies and TV shows, your mind's well, I'm a good person, I'm not an asshole, I'm not a murderer, so therefore subconsciously, you're going to self-sabotage and not make all the money and not make all this stuff. And then you're going to be yeah, in your heart, money's not good, so I don't want it. I'm just going to do what I need to do, live the rat race, as people call, or do whatever, right? But no. All that stuff we were taught, you got to do the opposite. Because I'm telling you, law of attraction and the flow of the universe is so simple. And everybody just tries to make it sound so complicated for nothing. And it's funny because I thought the same thing, because you see that on mainstream media, TV shows, or, your friends and stuff that everybody, you watch the latest movie, watch the latest TV show when you're growing up and stuff, right? And then every now and again, you see them making fun of, dirty hippies. Oh, those dirty hippies, they never shower, they stink, they're hairy. Or all these voodoo people, all these energy people are crazy, they're loopy, they're nuts and stuff like that, right? And I remember watching a movie, and there's a lot of movies like this where the guy's okay, I'm motivated, and he's just barely scraping by. He's going to a business meeting, and he puts in this cassette tape. That's how old I'm showing my age again. He put a cassette tape. Hey, Mike, what's a cassette tape? Well, a cassette tape is a little tape, I don't know, rectangle thing that has this a string, or not a string, but this black tape in it that you can record on. Yeah, there's an A side and a B side. Anyways, it's kind of now everything's just digital. Maybe you remember CDs, but this was before the CDs. Google it. It's vintage. Cassette tape. This has been a learning moment from Mike from Life Changers. Today's learning moment is cassette tape. Oh, man. But no. He puts the cassette tape in, and it's the I ams. And for you who are not familiar with I ams, It goes along the line where there's like nice energy, frequency music, like, like nice, happy, just a little whatever. And if you get the frequency right, it's good positive energy, and it absorbs in better. But anyways, and then it goes like, I am amazing. I am successful. I am the best. Right? I am rich. I am going to get this contract. And it goes on and on. Like, I ams could be anything. You could Google it, I ams, on YouTube and get some I ams. They're pretty good. And I honestly listen to them. But when I was younger, I see that. I'm like, this guy's so stupid. He thinks that's going to help him. You should just have gumption, right? That's a bit. I don't know. I'm not that old. But you should have, positive, just be positive attitude and have self-esteem for yourself and have the positive energy knowing that you're going to achieve all this and blah, 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 right? And just, self-motivate. You don't need to listen to that, dirty hippie, blah, 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 right? But it works. And we're going to make some I ams soon and stuff like that because it works. I listen to some certain I ams that I like that work for me. I recommend whichever one you vibe with, you listen to. And just, you don't have to listen to it and repeat and be like, oh yeah, I'm getting motivated, right? Just have it playing in the background when you're driving or when you're at work, just playing and you can hear it. I have it playing sometimes when I'm in my office and the customer comes in. He's like, what's that? I'm sure he's like, this guy's nuts. But when it works, it works. It all depends on your personal reality. But it does. It works for me. It just lets me flow and goes, yes. Because you know what? You deserve to be as wealthy and successful and to find love and to have all that stuff. You deserve it. We all deserve it. Okay? And we're all like, it's so elusive, it's so hard, you're chasing the money and chasing, trying to find that significant other and chasing the dream job. Chase. Well, you should listen to my episode called Stop Chasing. Because when you're chasing things, it's running away. If I'm chasing you, you're running. You're not going to be like, hey, yeah, come on, yeah, I don't know who you are, you're just chasing me. And sure, think about it. It's that simple. Stop chasing. Put that, yeah, I deserve this. Get that energy flow and just allow it to flow. Because I remember how hard and elusive it was to get money. And I worked at like a good job. And then I started my company and I was making decent money. But yet I never had money. Why? Because I was programmed, like I mentioned before, my parents programmed my dad a lot, would say, like, we're poor, son. We can't afford this, son. And tell me how frustrated he is that he has to work so hard to make a little bit of money. And the rich people don't work hard and they're just giving everything, blah, 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 right? And he says, like, we're only here to make rich people stay rich and poor to stay poor, blah, 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 right? But no. And I even told my dad this a few years ago. I'm like, Dad, I know you don't understand what I'm talking about, but you subconsciously programmed all of your kids and yourself to stay poor, to live paycheck to paycheck, to be like it's a struggle. It's supposed to be a struggle, but it's not. Don't accept it. I don't. He's like, okay. And and I know my dad's getting old. He's 73 now. And I was telling him all this stuff. He's just like, okay. I'm sorry you feel that way, son. But it wasn't, whatever. It doesn't work that way. But it does. Because the moment I decided to stop being poor and stop working, making it feel so elusive, by listening to that book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I literally like, yes, I'm going to change the way I was taught, the way I was programmed. Subconsciously, right? Unconsciously. You don't realize it. But everything out there is, the information, and we take it and we program ourselves to believe what we want, to understand the way we want to understand it. And you could understand something wrong, right? And believe something different. But it is what it is. But there's no, I guess, wrong and right in the sense of for what you believe. You can believe anything you want. And if it's right to you, it's right for you. And if it's truth for you, it's truth for you. Don't let anybody take that. Many people tell me, And, friends too, but, people I look up to, people that are friends and stuff. When I, let my crazy out and talk to them like I'm talking to you. And I'm censoring myself. I'm not going too nuts. And they're like, okay. You got crazy Mike again. Right? I have like a buddy of mine who was there when I did the experiment. Okay? The experiment, the real experiment. That's the episode. I believe it was in season 1, episode 10 or something. But called The Real Experiment. Because I got sidetracked on when we were talking about the experiment. And he was there and he saw me walking into casinos and just using the law of attraction and just winning, making money. Like I was making money. I was 1,000% convinced I'm going to leave here with more money than I came in with. And I would leave with anywhere from $1,000 to $3,500 to $5,500 Canadian. It's like $5 American. I'm just joking. I mean, to get $1 US right now, I need to spend $1.35 Canadian. So it's 35% difference. Anyways, but he was there for that. And all he could tell himself is, you're just lucky. He goes, you're lucky. You're lucky. Then that's how the joke came out. A horse kicked me in the ass and his shoe got stuck. So I got a horseshoe on my butt, right? But no, I don't. And it's not that luck. And he saw me change from, I mentioned a lot, like I always had my own business, but then I wasn't like going all in with my business. I always had a real job on the side. I didn't consider my business a real job, right? Even my buddy that I hire, a full-time web developer, and he can work as hard as he wants, as much as he wants, or as less as he wants. He works at home, does his own thing. And I said, when you put in the hours, you charge me. And if you don't work, then you don't get paid. Like, don't charge me, right? Like, it's the trust factor. And, yeah. And he can make as much or as little as he wants. It's up to him. So when he works, he gets paid, right? Full time. But he still doesn't consider it a real job, quote unquote, a real job, right? A real job's working for somebody I don't know. And then I do whatever projects he tells me to do. And I meet the deadlines and I get paid and blah, blah, blah. Right? I'm like, this is a real job. Yeah, I'm hiring you as a contractor, but it's still a real job. If you want to work 50 hours a week, 40 hours a week, go ahead. You'll make the money. And he's been working for me since I'd say full-time since 2020. Now it's the end of 2023. And, he's every now and again will be like, well, I need a real job. I'm like, hey, so you're a reality, bud. But it is a real job. It would be more real if you lived closer and lived in Canada. Then you can come into the office and then you can feel like it's a real job then. And come work in the office every day. You know what I mean? But anyways, I digress. But it's all about your perception. So stop chasing, right? Stop trying to control everything and just let it happen the way it needs to happen naturally. I know it sounds crazy. I thought it was too. And now I wish I listened when I was 18, 19 to all this stuff. And I would probably be 10 times more successful than I am now. But you have to, and this is what I'm working on, but you have to be like, yes, thank you, and be happy. And stop going, I need more, blah, gimme, right? I'm not happy yet. I will only be happy when I have this. I'll only be happy. You know how many times I hear that from people? Hey, Mike, I'll only be happy when my business is actually making me consistent money. I said the same thing, right? Like I mentioned earlier in this episode. I did contracts and I made good money, but I would try to have a real job. And I was like, I need to not work a real job and I need to find a way to make real money. And I was focused on it and trying to be like that, right? But just let it happen. Let it flow. Stop trying to control. Stop saying, I need this. And then now that I have it, I'm like, I need more. Like I would never thought in 2019 to now, 2023, in November 2023, that I would be in my own recording podcast studio. I never thought that. I got these nice sound dampening panels. I got sound dampening things on my windows. I got nice LED lights in here, I ended up buying some Apple products because in order to get my podcast on Apple and podcast and iTunes, it's a lot easier if you have Apple products. And then I can register an Apple account and so on. So I bought Apple products. Yeah. I got a computer and a tablet and stuff, Apple iPad. I wouldn't tell me that, 2019, 2018, and I'll be like, oh, I'm successful. But I'm still here like, I need more. I want 1 million listeners. I want this. But if you're not grateful and happy for what you have, then why? Why would anybody want to give you more? Why would the universe or God or Mother Earth or whatever is going to give you more? If you're going to be like that. And I'm telling this to me too. It's not just, I'm not bitching at you, but I'm telling me too, because it's true. Because if I'm like, hey, universe or higher self or hey, God, give me this. And he gives it to you, or you receive it from the universe or whatever. You attract it through the law of attraction. And then you're like, thank you. First you don't say thank you. Then you're like, I want more. Give me more. Right? And then it'd be like, hey. So imagine I come to you. And then I'm like, hey, buddy. Can you give me this? And you're like, yeah, sure. I'm like, well, thank you for the free burger. Can I have the drink now? Can I have this? Can I have this? Give me your car. Can I have your house? Can I have this? Sorry, I got a cough. I forgot to bring water. I'm recording an hour-long podcast straight through, and I forgot to bring water. I tell you. And I'm just going to blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I'm sorry. But are you going to be like, okay, every time I say, gimme, 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 and I never say thank you, and I never you don't feel appreciated? Come on. Of course you're not. You might at first, and then you're going to either cut me off or be like, okay, Mike, you know what? Now you got to start paying for stuff because you're just taking advantage of me. And then you're probably thinking, but Mike, the universe is not a living being. It doesn't have feelings. No, but it's the energy. It's the energy you're putting out there is what matters. It's the energy. If you're putting energy of like, I deserve this, but you do deserve it, if you know what I mean, but like selfishly and just give me, all that stuff, then that's the energy you're putting out and that's what you're going to attract. Like try it, test it, play with it, because it works. All these things I'm saying, like it's just all a frame of mind and how you put the energy out. You might not realize it, but there's energy everywhere. And like, I know now more and more, like it's becoming more and more mainstream, I guess, where people are like, oh, I feel the negative energy in the room from you. You know, however you walked in a room and somebody's just having an intense conversation, but they all just like, they're not yelling anymore. And then he's walking, they're like, whoa, cut the tension with a knife. What's going on here? Right? That's the flow of the energy. So if you're putting flow of positive energy and happy-go-lucky energy and loving, caring energy and the energy of flow of money out there and abundance and all this stuff instead of like negative energy, then all this good stuff will come your way. But if you're out there going like, oh, I have to work so hard and I don't get what I deserve and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to feel so self-entitled and self-absorbed and well, you should take a look at yourself because you're probably not a good a good person or a good employee. You might be a nice person in general, but if you're like always like, oh, I'm amazing, I'm the best, without me, your company sucks, blah, blah, blah. No, it doesn't work that way. That's bad energy, bad juju. If you and everybody that's listening, and even me, I'm working towards it, can just live in the moment, live in the now. You don't need to, if you don't realize in this world or the matrix that we're in or the video game or whatever you want to see it as, right? Whatever you see we're in, it's the Truman Show maybe, but whatever you think we're in, like, we live in the past. We're focused on the past. You hear a lot of people talking about the past or about the future. One day, or hey, in my 5-year plan in the future, this is what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. That's good to have a little plan and put it out there. But don't, set it and forget it and let it happen. But roll with the punches. Because things are not going to happen like exactly the way you want it to. But you will get all of the abundance you want if you have the right energy. And I'm working on that myself. I could know the difference when I have the good energy flow and I'm just like living in the moment and just trusting the universe and just flowing versus me trying to take control and take over. It's funny because when I go on vacation and I don't even care about my company and what's going on, like I just trust the employees or everybody, no one's calling me, no one's bugging me. I might check in once in a while, and everything's working great and everything's working smoothly and I'm not focused on that. And then everything's just, wow. Just I come back and I'm like, wow, you guys must have been really busy. Like, wow, look at all the contracts we're fulfilling and look at all these processing we're doing and all this stuff and all these packages we're shipping on and all these little things, right? But when I'm sitting here like focused on it all day, going, look, I gotta make more money. I gotta get more packages through that door. We gotta do this. We gotta do. I got. No. And then things just seem to slow down. It's like a bad energy, right? And then it just flows. Energy flows through this whole world. There's even been scientific evidence, and a lot of scientists and stuff prove that, like, you can have the positive energy in this room or negative energy, and even though you leave, there's still energy flowing in this room for a while. It's not like it just leaves with you. So energy is a real thing. But we need to learn to be loving, caring, and loving ourselves is important. I know that I'm working on all this stuff and I'm talking about it because I'm realizing what I need to do. And then as I do it, I know it works. So that's, what works for me. But I know when I live in the moments and I stop trying to force the universe to give me things or force, things to happen and just, have faith or trust or just, and like, yeah, I trust my higher self or the universal guidance and everything is going to give me what I need. And just be happy and love everybody and love yourself. How much joy you would have in your life, less stress. Like, it's amazing to me that right now, the way I understand things and the way I'm thinking and blah, 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 I'm like, yeah, I see opportunity for anybody to make money. It's so easy, right? I'm like, you can go rent a little warehouse, or you have a minivan, great. Why don't you get yourself a little power washer, and some cleaning supplies and all that, and you can go to people's houses or to companies and wash their fleet of cars for them. I would go to rental companies like, Enterprise Rent-A-Car or Alamo or all these rent-a-car places and be like, hey, instead of you guys needing a team to come in here and clean your cars and you need a full-time employee to do that, how we would have somebody that comes in every day and will vacuum and auto detail your cars, and it'll be cheaper for you, and then you make money, and then you got your teams going around and they're just knocking out all these jobs. It's that easy. But we're always taught like, oh, it's going to take a long time, and your first 5 to 10 years of business, if most 98% of businesses go bankrupt, blah blah. Well, if you believe that, then yeah, you're going to go bankrupt. I don't believe any of the stereotypes or any of that BS that I was told. I refuse to accept that in my reality. Even my accountants, I'm like, hey, I'm starting this new venture. I'm going to dump all this money into it, and it's going to turn me a profit and pay me back within the first year or so. And they're like, yeah, good luck, buddy. Like, everybody wishes that happens. And then sure enough, they're like, hey, how did you do that? Like, because I don't let the stereotypes, or I don't let well, this is how it works. No, I don't care how it works. This is how my reality works. Is I'm only going to do amazing things and things that work for me, and this is what I want, and this is the energy I'm putting out there: positive, happy-go-lucky, loving, caring energy, and certificate. Like, this is what I want. This is what I'm doing. That's all there is to it. And it's funny because even when I sold my house in 2018 or something, 2019, I was talking to the real estate agent. I'm like, this is how much I want to sell the house for. And this is what I'm going to list it at, but it's going to go over asking. It's going to be closer to this price. This is what I want. He's like, he goes, you can have dreams and list it for anything you want, but it's not like you're going to get it, right? And we had an open house on like the Saturday. We weren't taking offers until on the Monday. And we had all these offers already by Monday. And it sold for around what I was saying I wanted. And he's just like, I don't know how you did it. But in hindsight, if I held on to it until 2020, 2021, it would have been worth a lot more in Ontario, Canada. But hey, if I can see the future, then, well, I got to work on that so I can predict the future. But like the moments I just go with the flow, it's people are like, you're just lucky, Mike. No, it's not luck. I'm not lucky 100% of the time. Okay, maybe like 95% of the time, because sometimes I self-sabotage myself. And if you're like, what's that, Mikey? Well, you should listen to my podcast called Self-Sabotage. Maybe I'll redo new ones, and I'll do similar topics about it and push. But self-sabotaging is like, back to what I was saying, how like, I grew up and I was kind of programmed to, by everybody to be like, you're poor, you're going to be poor, and that's how poor, because rich people get rich because rich people stay together and they give each other money, blah, 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 right? And poor get all of us rich, right? Well, that's what they want you to believe, because that's what they want. They don't want you to be rich too. They don't want everybody to be rich. Then you have no need. Then they got no leverage over you, right? But I believe that there's more than enough money and universal energy in this world that everybody can be rich. It's just we tell ourselves we can't because we believe what we're told. But I choose not to. You should choose not to. You should choose your own reality. And I know what you're thinking, but Mike, I'm not going to live in a hole. This is reality. Reality states that, I'm going to be poor my whole life unless I come up with this one amazing idea and I work so hard and I push. I know a lot of people that work so hard and push, but they always have that little doubt in them. And then it just doesn't work. My dad was one of those guys. I seen Nick growing up. How he was like, no matter how hard I work, I'm never going to be rich. I'll never have more than I need. I'm always, And that's how he lived. And he still lives that way. And I'm like, okay. And he had businesses. He has amazing businesses. And like he was doing vending machines back in the late 80s, early 90s when they were like a huge thing, right? And he was doing really well. But once again, he's like, I'll never be rich. I'm just, and he limits himself, self-sabotages. And then by putting that in the universe, that's what you're going to attract. Because what you put out is what you're going to get back in return. So if you're a pompous asshole, and you're like, why is everybody, and he's looking around going, why is everybody being mean to me? Why is everybody an asshole to me? Why? Well, you should take a look at yourself. I'm sorry to say, but you should look in the mirror, bud. Because if everybody hates you and mean to you, then I think you might be the problem. Yeah, not everybody likes me, right? Because some people don't like themselves, so they hate the world. They feel like the world is against them and everybody's against them and all this stuff in their head, and that's their reality. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to self-sabotage yourself, get rid of all your friends. You're going to get rid of family, and you're going to piss everybody off, and you're going to screw yourself over because that's what you're attracting. Because that's what you're putting out. But you blame everybody else in the world. It's not my problem. It's all these assholes. No. Look in the fucking mirror. I'm sorry. But it's true. It just bugs me because I treat people with respect and dignity. I treat everybody with kindness, with love. I don't judge people. I bump into assholes and I'm like, that person is an asshole. But I don't think, everybody that's like that person, so, this successful business guy, is an asshole. So all business people are assholes. No, I talk to people and I give everybody the chance. I treat everybody one-on-one. I don't say like, if I talk to this person that works at this Wendy's and that person is an asshole, and then their boss was an asshole to me, then everybody that works there are assholes. I hate you all. You're going to burn in hell, right? No, they're not. They're not all assholes. Maybe those two people are having a bad day. You might have had a bad day. I know I had bad days sometimes. And I'm just like, ah! And then somebody pisses me off, and I'm like, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Right? I'm doing my best. We're all doing our best. But if you're putting out negative and, all these vibes of negativity and, I'm poor and everyone all mopey, well, that's what you're going to get. I'm sorry. Nothing's going to help you if you're not going to change the way you're processing. You literally have to break the habit of being yourself and reprogram yourself the way you want to be, and not allow the world or the people around you or whatever to push you down and say, this is the way it is. Because I got a lot of people that I have respect for, and they're like, yeah, you're a little loopy with this law of attraction bullshit, Mike. I'm sorry. And I'm like, hey, you have your opinion, but the proof is in the pudding for me. Like, it works for me. It might not work for you, will not work for you with the attitude you have against it. And I had the same thing where I was like, this is all crazy. This is nuts. But when it works, it works. The proof is right there. Like, I cannot say anything more. Like, yeah. So, if all you see is people that come around you that are loving, happy, yeah, there's a percentage of people that are going to try to ruin your mood because you're happy and they're not. Just kill them with kindness. That'll piss them off even more. But don't let them ruin your your good energy. Do you ever notice how, like, sometimes you're like flowing and having an amazing time and amazing energy, then something comes your way and just and you're like, oh, I expect that because whatever positive happens, something bad has to happen. Blah, blah. It doesn't have to happen that way. Reprogram yourself. Program yourself to be like, hey, I'm loving, I'm caring, I'm happy-go-lucky. I do not associate myself with people with negative, bad energy. I just kind of like, this is, I'm an open book. I will tell you how I think, blah, blah, blah. And I just, know how to, people say I know how to read people. Oh, I just feel their energy and I know who they are, the type of person they are. So, yeah, maybe I'm too much of an open book and too nice, but you know what? It's what I want. I treat people the way I want to be treated. So if you treat people like everybody's an asshole, well, then everybody's going to treat you like an asshole. So if that's your case and that's the cycle you're in, be like, I guess I should change something. I'm going to treat people with respect. You know how many times I had a technician come over for the internet and all that? We changed service providers. And I was just like, hey, being nice to the guy, like, sorry I'm late. I was like 5 minutes late. And he's like, oh, no problem. And I was like, can I help you with anything? Do you need water? I got bottled water if you need water. Do you want, whatever, right? Just being nice. Because I would like it if people were nice and treated me like that. So I treat people with respect. We all have our jobs. No one's beneath me. No one's above me. We're all equal on the playing field. And we should treat each other like that. And I was just like, yeah, just being nice to the guy. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then he was just really surprised and being nice to me and like, oh, yeah, thanks for helping me, And I'm like, hey. And he's like, I was talking to the guy. Like, he's like, this is my last call. And I'm like, do you pay by the hour? He's like, no, I'm more paid by, the contract, by the by the ticket number. So I came in, we're installing new internet for you. Doesn't matter how long it takes me, I get paid the same amount. So I was like, well, let me help you. Let's, speed up the process so you can go home. Because you got a 2-hour drive home after all this, right? And he's like, yeah, I know. And it just made him feel good. I just made him feel good. I'm not doing it to be like, hey, yeah, I did. I made him feel good. Pat me on the back, everybody. No. Because I want people to treat me the same way and to make me feel good. And we all just feel good and just have a warm, fuzzy feeling. The world would be such a wonderful place, right? But no. Yeah. There's a lot of douchebags in this world. But it's just leave them alone. They're going to be alone. They're going to be alone. They're going to have nobody, no friends, no nothing. It's sad because I just have love for them. But I don't want their negative energy around me, so I'm walking away. But just know how amazing you are and how you do deserve to have everything you want. And that you do deserve to have wealth, love, feel loved, be loved, right? Have that dream job. You deserve to have what you want. But be happy with it. Live in the moment. Appreciate it when it comes your way. And yeah, it's not like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to have my dream job tomorrow. What happened? I didn't get my dream job. No, like, go out, put your applications out, or, do your thing. But you'll know. You'll feel that energy like, this is it, right? It's kind of like when you're looking for a house. You don't just buy the first house that comes your way or rent the first apartment you can get. If you want that dream apartment, then oops, I just hit something. Sorry. If you want that dream apartment, go looking around and all that. When the right one comes, you walk in and be like, oh, this is the one. And then you'll be able to, even if you think, oh, I can't afford it, I can't do that. No, don't get that all out of your head. If it's meant to be, you'll get it. Trust me. Allow the flow of the positive universal energy through. Things are not as hard as they seem to get. But once you achieve those things, you're like, wow. And you look back and like, wow, that was not a lot easier than I thought. Wow, that's amazing. Oh, wow. This works, Mike. Oops. Keep on moving my chair into the garbage. But yeah. That's why I record these podcasts as straight up, pure as can be, right? I'm coughing, I'm hitting the table, making noise, whatever. It is what it is. And I just record these in one shot, straight, whatever. If it's 58 minutes, 59, an hour, I just record them straight and I don't pause, I don't edit. I do use software to level the volume to make sure it's, because when I lean back or lean forward, you don't want to like turn up your volume, no, it's loud, right? So I level it all out and do all that fun stuff. But just this pure, straight up. This is what needs to be said. It's not, I didn't know where I was going to go. I don't have a script in front of me. For all of you new to the podcast, welcome. I don't have a script. I don't keep nothing with me. I just think of a topic and I start talking and I just go with the flow of the universe and say what needs to be said and what needs to be heard by people. So just know that I do love everybody and I do love you. And I want you to be successful and I want you to be happy. And feel free to write me and say, hey, I tried this, I tried that. And it worked, or I find this part hard, and can you talk a little bit more about this, or whatever. I'm more than happy to do that. You can write me at lifechangersmike@gmail.com. That's lifechangersmike, all one word, @gmail.com. And once again, I appreciate you. I love you. You are important. Everybody's amazing. You're amazing. And just remember, be happy, live in the moment. And you deserve it. And once again, this is Mike with Life Changers. Thank you very much.